So today, the first thing we're going to be making is the chocolate semi-freddo with raspberry sauce. And we're making the dessert first today because it has to stay in the freezer for up to 8 hours. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take an 8-inch square pan and we're just going to put some oil in it, which I've already done. And we're just going to line the whole pan with oil. And afterwards we're going to put plastic wrap or parchment paper in it and let that hang about 3 inches around the outside of the pan. This is what we want to prepare this first because this is what we're going to be putting the final product in, which then will go in the freezer. And we're just going to set this aside until we need it later. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be coarsely chopping 5 ounces of bittersweet chocolate. This is going to be the main flavor component for the semi-freddo. Once you've coarsely chopped all of your chocolate, you're going to put it in a heat-proof bowl or a double boiler, and you're just going to put it over simmering water. Make sure that the bowl does not touch the water, and we are going to stir the chocolate and cook it until it's completely melted. Now that the chocolate has been completely melted, and there's no lumps or anything inside of it, we are going to add half a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract and a scant pinch of kosher salt. Once the vanilla and salt have been mixed into the chocolate, you can set the bowl aside. Now what we're going to do over simmering water is either in a double boiler or a heat-proof bowl, we are going to whisk together the egg whites and half a cup of sugar. And we're going to be taking the bowl on and off the stove gradually so that we don't fully cook the egg whites. Okay, now that the egg whites and the sugar are fully mixed together, we're going to use a hand mixer to fully beat them until stiff peaks form. The next thing you're going to do after that is whip 1 cup of heavy cream, and then after that you're going to fold all of the mixtures together. Now that all of our mixtures are made, we're going to combine them. We are going to take our melted chocolate and we are going to fold it into our egg whites. Once you have fully folded the egg whites and the chocolate together, it should look kind of like a chocolate mousse and be a medium to light brown color. And now once we have mixed those together, we are going to add our whipped cream. Once we're done folding the whipped cream into the eggs and the chocolate, we're going to go ahead and pour this mixture into the pan we had already prepared with the oil and plastic wrap. And once it's in, you can smooth it out with a spatula so that it's all an even top. Now that it's all in there, we are going to go ahead and cover it with the sides, the extra plastic wrap that we let go over the sides there. Now that the plastic wrap is fully covering the mixture, we are going to put this pan in the freezer for at least 8 hours. Now it's time to make the raspberry sauce for the top of the semi-freddo. Now that the semi-freddo has been put in the freezer, we're going to start on the sauce. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a 10-ounce bag of raspberries and you're going to let them thaw. And we're going to put 1/3 cup of the raspberries aside so they can be whole on top of the semi-freddo once it's completely done freezing. Now we're going to take the remaining amount of raspberries and we're going to take the remaining 1/2 cup of sugar and we're going to put them into a food processor, but because I don't have one, I'm using a blender. So we want to put the raspberries and the sugar in together. So now once you have blended up the raspberries with the sugar until nice smooth consistency, we are just going to put it through a very fine sieve to get out all of the seeds and bigger chunks. Once you have done all of this, the sauce is actually ready. It's very simple and it can stay in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 2 days. Now, for an appetizer, we're going to be making bruschetta. What you're going to need are 4 medium to large ripe tomatoes. You're going to need 1/2 of a lemon of lemon juice, some fresh basil, some dried oregano, olive oil, pepper, salt, and a few cloves of garlic. So the first thing you're going to want to do when making a bruschetta is to first cut up all of the tomatoes. You're going to want to cut the tomatoes into a medium dice, and you want to make sure that you've taken any stems or stickers out because you really do. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to cut up some fresh basil. it's really up to you how much you want to add. It's, I guess, preferred flavor taste. Get some basil. You don't want too much, but you also don't want too little. You want just enough so you have a nice taste of it. Okay. So right now I have about that much basil. And I'm just going to nod it, and I'm going to mix it in with the tomatoes. Once the basil's in, what you're going to do is you're going to take your bare hands and you're going to mix the tomatoes and the basil all together. The amount of basil doesn't really, like, it's not supposed to be exact. It's really based off of taste and even how it looks. So now from mixing that all together, I can see that there is enough basil in proportion to the amount of tomato that I have. We are going to add our garlic next. Now once again, it's not an exact amount that you need of garlic that you need to put into it, but it really depends on the size of the ones that you get. If you have fairly large cloves, I would say only put in 2 or 3. In this case, I have fairly small ones, so I'm probably going to add about 4 or 5 of them. Next, what we're going to be adding is half of a lemon of lemon juice. Just to grow. And there are a lot of seeds in lemons, so to just prevent them from all going into the mixture, you can just hold your hand under it while you squeeze out all the lemon juice. Once we got all the lemon incorporated and squeezed out into the mixture, we're going to add just about a big to normal sized pinch of dried oregano leaves. If you like oregano, you can put more. If you don't have to put it in at all. Now we're just going to add some salt. And we're also going to add some pepper. Okay. Now the mixture by itself is quite dry. So we're going to add some olive oil. I would say you're adding about 3 to 4 tablespoons of oil. And now once you got your oil in, you're going to once ahead take your hands and mix it all together. Once everything is all incorporated, your bruschetta mixture is now done. Now that your mixture is done and ready to go, what you're going to want to do is get a French baguette or whatever small kind of bread you want, and you want to cut it into about a centimeter to an inch thick slices, and you want to just get, I guess, lightly brush oil over the top of each piece of bread, and you're just going to put it in the oven. You can set it to about 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and just put it in until it has slightly browned and gone crispy, and then you just spoon bruschetta on top of the baguette slices, and that's all there is to it. It's a great appetizer. It doesn't involve any heat, and well, it doesn't involve much heat, and a lot of people really do enjoy it. Now we're going to start making our spinach and ricotta ravioli from scratch, and we're going to start off by making the pasta dough. What you're going to need are 3 cups of flour. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of salt, 3 large eggs lightly beaten, and 2 to 3 tablespoons of water. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add all of the ingredients together, and we are going to put them all in the KitchenAid mixer with the dough hook attachment until the dough comes together, and preferably more like a round kind of ball. Okay, so now we have wrapped our ball of dough into plastic wrap. We're just going to let this sit at room temperature for half an hour. Now that the dough is finished and we have it sitting at room temperature, we're going to get started on the filling for the ravioli. What you're going to need first is a pound of fresh spinach, which is the equivalent to 16 ounces. So I have purchased 2 8-ounce bags, and you have to cut off the large stems. Next, you want 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter. You want 1/4 cup of minced shallots. You want 1 heaping cup of fresh ricotta. You want 1/2 cup of finely ground Parmesan, which is right there. You want 2 large egg yolks. You want several gratings of nutmeg, but because I could not find whole nutmeg, I have purchased pre-ground nutmeg, which I will put a little bit in. Kosher salt. And of course, that's it. The first thing we're going to do when making the filling is we're going to steam the spinach. What you're going to need is a nice big pot, and you're going to fill it about 1 inch with water. Then what you want to get is you want to get a steamer. So this is the part that goes in the pot that has holes all in it, and we want to make sure the bottom of this is not touching the water. And we're just going to put that in there. We're going to bring the water to a simmer, and of course we're going to put the spinach in. And we're going to let this steam for about 3 to 5 minutes until the spinach is kind of mushy, soggy. After we have put the spinach in the simmering water, you want to get a separate bowl and fill it with ice water so that you can quickly transfer the spinach once it's done steaming into the ice bowl to stop the cooking and maintain the green color of the spinach. Now for another section of the inside mixture of the ravioli, we're going to be sauteing butter with some minced shallots. You could probably tell that I'm cutting them right now, and the essential oils are making me bawl my eyes out, and they're killing my eyes. I've already done 1/2 of 1 shallot. We need 1/4 cup of shallots and with a tablespoon of butter. And now we're going to saute that in a pan, but we're not going to let the shallots go brown. Leaving the mincing of shallots aside for 2 seconds, the spinach is done steaming. Oh my gosh, okay. We are going to bring it from there to the ice bath, and I don't have anything to transfer it with, unfortunately. I'm going to use my hands. I'm just going to use my hands. Yeah, I'm going to use my hands. It's pretty hot. I don't recommend you use your hands. If you can, get tongs or something. It's very, very hot. I didn't come prepared. But you need it to stop cooking. Oh my gosh, I don't have tongs or anything. Okay, I'm gonna go in with this beautiful little sieve. so that spinach is soaking. The butter, we're just going to move around a bit here in the saute pan. Going to let it help. Once the butter starts to bubble and we add the shallots, it should take about 2 minutes before you take it off the stove and off the heat. Sorry. So like I said before, we are going to be cooking the shallots until they are soft but not yet. So now that I have cooked them, I am going to remove them from the heat source and I'm going to let them sit. For the spinach, we are going to now drain it from its icy bath. So the spinach is going to be really like sticky and droopy, and that is completely normal. Now, once everything has been completed for the mixture for the center of the ravioli, we're going to combine all the ingredients. So right now we have the spinach in the bowl. We're going to combine half a cup of Parmesan cheese, 2 egg yolks, a few grindings of whole nutmeg, or about a pinch of normal nutmeg, some kosher salt, and for this you can add as much as you want really. I'm going to add just a couple fairly large pinches, and a half. Okay, we're going to add the shallot, which is still in the saute pan that has just cooled, and now we're going to add that. It's the shallot and butter mixture actually. And now 1 heaping cup of ricotta. So I'm just going to measure that out right now because okay, and now we're going to mix all the ingredients together. And once this is all completely combined, it's going to be the filling for ravioli. So now we're going to get started on the finished product of our ravioli. So okay, so now that we have rolled out half the dough, we are going to cut it into thirds with our pasta cutter. Now here there is a riffled edge which we're going to use for the final product, and this is just a plain edge, which we're going to use for right now. So we're just going to go ahead and cut it into 3 big pieces. Okay. We're going to set 2 of them kind of to the side. We're going to take one of the strips, flour it a bit. Gonna flour our machine a bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it through the machine going from the thickest, I guess the thickest, like the thickest to the thinnest adjustment on here, so that we get an even and nice consistency. You want to make sure that when you're cranking the machine that you do the same, that you're consistent throughout the whole thing.